Hey YouTube, it's springtime and I have a lot of projects going on, like putting away my snowblower for the summer and getting my lawnmower out and getting it ready. And maybe I'm just getting old, but I'm sick of hunching over these things to work on them. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I built a new workbench that solves that problem. Enjoy! A few days ago, I was looking at the Craigslist free page and I came across someone local who was giving away an old, not working electric wheelchair, which is partially stripped and right there. Talk about that in a future video, and also a electric wheelchair lift that's meant to go into the back of a vehicle. Originally this didn't interest me at all, but they required that in order to get that for free I had to take this too, so I took it. And then when I was driving home with it, I started to think about maybe that could be pretty useful. I've got all kinds of projects I want to work on, like small motorcycles and lawnmowers and snowblowers and the like. And that thing can lift 300 pounds. So I've got an idea how I can work that into a movable workbench to help me work on some of my projects. Okay, it took a little bit of playing around with the wiring to get it working, but here we go, it works. There you go, goes all the way down, and then just using this little remote, comes back in and moves backwards again. Alright, now that I've got that working, I'm going to go back to the whiteboard and I'll show you what I'm envisioning. Okay, here is what I'm planning on doing. As I do this, forgive me, I'm having to draw with my left hand. So the green part is the lift. It's going to get built into a rectangular wooden frame that'll have caster wheels on the bottom. The forward and backward tracked part of it, I'm going to build it a little bit below the top of the workbench, and I'm going to make this blue part that's above the green, there's going to be a hinge here in the middle, so that this piece that's above the green can hinge all the way over like this, so it can actually open up and lay on top of this half, and that will make it so that this part can now go forward and backward, which would just basically make it so that the workbench can be smaller if I needed to store it away. And then if I want to flip it back, then this part can just go up and down, and I can use the entire workbench top. I'm going to have to build a battery into it because the lift runs on 12 volts DC, so I'll probably put a battery and a battery tender on it so I can just plug that in all the time. The one major problem that I haven't figured out yet is that this has a 24-inch, actually it might be 26-inch reach down, and I really want 36-inch. So I'm going to have to come up with something. I'm not sure if I'm going to build a new platform for here at the bottom with like a ramp that flips down maybe, but I really want this workbench to be at least 36 inches tall, and so I'm going to build it that tall and build this into it, and then later on at the end I'm going to have to figure out something to improve the platform that everything goes onto. So there's the plan. I'm going to get building. Quick status check. Here's where we're at. I've got the caster wheels there, legs there. That is this back part here. One small addition I made is I extended this out 8 inches so I can stack cinder blocks up here if I need to offset, counterweight anything on the front. So now I have to do some measurements and figure out how tall this has to be to accommodate the extra structure and load that's going to be right there. So keep going. Alright, this is where we are now. So what I ended up doing, this is the end that the actual lift is going to get mounted to. You'll see that I put this long horizontal piece 1.5 inches lower than the 4x4 post, and then here I ended up using a 2x6, and that made it so that these pieces, another 2x6, it's flush here, and then I'm going to use these as the mounts for the lift, so that these are sitting on top of this instead of just screwing into the side. Well, it's going to be a lot stronger. So now what I need to figure out is exactly where on this thing, it's where I want to mount the lift, how far out it's going to stick, or is it going to be flush to the end, and then depending on where it's going to line up, then I'll figure out the best place to screw these down, because it obviously needs to mount, bolt right into that, and then that will give me my point for the hinges and all that lifting stuff we talked about. So now I got to pick that lift back up, set it on top, and take some measurements. Alright, I am making progress. So I've got this thing, all the cross pieces screwed down, ready to go. I don't have the bolts I need right now to actually secure this in, so I have to make a trip out for that. So at the moment I've just got 4 clamps on there. I ended up deciding to move this almost all the way back. The exact spot I picked is basically just because it lines up with the first set of bolt holes. So that's good. I'll have to figure out the hinging part next, but I'm going to throw you on the tripod. Oh wait, before I do, back here I have a battery and a 40-pound bag of chicken grain. I want to show you something. Let me put you on the tripod. Alright, make sure you can see. Oh. Alright, watch this. It's working! Okay, I've got the bolts in. That's all done. I've started this end piece here. It's amazing how well this is already working. This is my new favorite workbench, and it's not even done. This is just temporarily set on top. But this frame piece underneath is solid and finished. So now what I need to do is figure out the hinging. I'm just using a couple of pieces of 2x4 to try to rough it out. So what am I envisioning is I'm going to build a box that's going to start there, come back, and it will cross right there. And this will be the part that hinges and flips open. So this piece will actually have to have plywood on both sides of it so that when it's opened up, you still have a decent work space over here. It's actually been about 3 months since I built this. All that footage you just saw was filmed during the winter. It's now late April. We are home on lockdown. I hope everybody watching this is doing well and staying healthy. I just wanted to finish up this video and give some updates. A couple of changes to the plan. I decided to keep this original platform for lifting wheelchairs. I didn't want to keep it originally for 2 reasons. First of all, it's heavy, and second of all, it mounts below this point right here, which is what I was using for all of my measurements. I'll go over why that's a problem in a second, but it saved me a bunch of time just to reuse it. Plus, it already fits pretty much everything on it that I wanted to lift. The only small exception to that are these little motorcycles that I'm going to be restoring, but I just built an extra wooden piece that sits on top of here to hold the motorcycles, so that solved that problem. Alright, so back here the hinging part's done. This works out really nicely. Like I mentioned, the downside to this thing mounting below is that I didn't build this piece because this would have run into it, and also it can't clear here either. So if I ever want to be able to slide this all the way back, I have to take out 6 screws to remove these pieces. Not the end of the world. What I've found so far is that most stuff that I've lifted with this, like lawnmowers and a snowblower, I haven't needed to slide it back. This thing's plenty strong enough, but the motorcycles are heavy enough that it actually just started to tip the back end off the ground a little bit. So when I slid this back that foot to that point right there, it solved that problem. Everything balanced out really well. So overall, I really like it. I wouldn't change much about it. I think I would, with more time, I might end up building a new platform here and actually bring it up that extra few inches like I planned on. But everything else on this is working out well. I really like that it's on casters. Since I have such a small workspace, it's nice to be able to just move it around, move it out of the way. I can even move it outside if I need to. So that's a nice feature. That's about it. Thanks for watching the video. Here's a couple of quick sneak peeks of stuff coming up. I've been gathering the pieces that I need to make a new version of my chicken tractor. And then you see some new large motors down there. So watch out for that video coming up. And also, like I mentioned, these motorcycles, I'm going to shoot a couple of videos about restoring these and getting them back on the road. So as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and always comment and subscribe if you want to. Again, thanks.